In 2006, during my sophomore year of high school, Sycamore View embarked on Project Freedom, a decision that had huge implications for the future of our church body and the impact we could make by stepping faithfully into the unknown. My parents, David and Sherry, my younger brother Braden, and I were quoted in the April 23, 2006 bulletin as saying, "We are eager and excited about what lies ahead. We truly feel that by participating in the 40 days of prayer, playing a role in the 24-hour prayer session, redefining our priorities and commitments, and actively seeking God's will, not only will we be able to meet our commitment goals as a family, but we will be able to see just how magnificent God is when we put Him in control." A few years prior, in the early 2000s, Sycamore View was a church with some decisions to make. The church had experienced steady numerical growth over the first 25 years of her existence, and the size of the church building was no longer adequate for the congregation. At the same time, the Sycamore View neighborhood had experienced significant economic decline, and most of the church members lived out east. Thus, we needed to either relocate deeper into the suburbs where a lot of our families were living and build a new facility, or we needed to expand the facility at 1910 Sycamore View Road and make new commitments to the neighborhood and city. Should we stay or should we go? The answer from our church was a resounding, "We stay." The phrases, "We believe this neighborhood needs this church," and "We believe this church needs this neighborhood," began to inspire our church to double down in this part of the city. We began asking, how can we become a church the neighborhood would miss if we closed down or moved away? Choosing to stay at 1910 Sycamore View Road meant that we would embark on an almost $2 million campaign dedicated to 3 goals known as the 3 E's: expand our facilities, eliminate debt, explore new ministries. We knew that expanding our facilities was important because we had no designated space for the youth ministry, very limited space for children, and very little fellowship space. Project Freedom would provide funding for the 2-story building behind the gym we call the Impact, and funding for what we now call the front lobby. We knew that eliminating debt was crucial, as debt had been a part of Sycamore View's story since its origin in 1978. At the time of Project Freedom, the church was paying $10,000 per month toward debt retirement. This debt crippled dreams of new ministries and missions. Getting out of debt meant experiencing freedom to dream and empowering the church to say yes to more opportunities. We knew that by listening to God's call to explore new ministries, we would be able to serve new ministries in our city and around the world. Kurt Sparks, the preaching minister at the time, called on the faith of the church to delve into the unknowable. This faithful step led us to relationships with our adopted schools, our missions in Ukraine and Panama, and our partnership with the Boys and Girls Club. Randy Frederick, chairman of the Project Freedom campaign at the time, spoke into not only the financial goals of the campaign, but also the higher goal, the shared spiritual growth we would experience as we prayerfully said yes to staying here in the neighborhood we sit in today. The church took time to seek the direction of the Spirit before launching Project Freedom. After months of the church seeking direction of the Spirit through discussion and prayer among the elders and ministers, the church body spent 40 days seeking wisdom through prayer, which culminated in a 24-hour prayer vigil, an experience my own family participated in. It seemed the Lord was clearly leading the way in this project and helping church members catch sight of the vision. The widespread excitement about Project Freedom and the belief in moving forward with our goals was felt in every nook of this church. Eddie Eaton was quoted in a church bulletin at the time saying that this decision was more than just about money. It was about the future of our church and experiencing the unified body working together to accomplish a goal larger than ourselves. Regardless of age or income bracket, people gave sacrificially. As a member of the youth group, I participated in a bake sale to raise money for the financial campaign. My brother, a part of the children's ministry at the time, collected coins. My parents purchased a cookbook made by the women's ministry. Our entire family committed to prayer for 40 days, participated in the 24-hour prayer day, and made financial sacrifices to achieve our agreed-upon goal for giving. The heartbeat of the church felt unified in our commitment to stay. In 2007 through 2009, the Great Recession rocked our country and our own body of believers. The construction projects experienced delays and Kurt Sparks resigned. Nevertheless, God was faithful and the ministry never stopped. Josh and Casey's decision to uproot their lives and move to Memphis, Tennessee was partly cemented in the fact that we were a church dedicated to the neighborhood surrounding 1910 Sycamore View and the city of Memphis. Their imaginations and hearts were captured by the spirit of our love for this place. God's ability to take a resignation that perhaps made people question our campaign resulted in the very family being here that we get to minister alongside with and be shepherded by every week. On Easter Sunday in 2007, we held a Jubilee offering where we raised $100,000 and instead of using for our funds, decided to faithfully give it all away. A medical mission team traveled to Zambia and raised money to house Stella, a beloved Zambian woman dying of AIDS. We sent teens like myself on international mission trips, which cultivated in us a responsibility and acknowledgement of our role in being the hands and feet of Jesus. And we began our beloved tradition of raising thousands of dollars through the annual Panama Fiesta Lunch. It's been almost 20 years since Project Freedom began, and I am now a 34-year-old wife and mother of 4, reflecting back on that season of great faith and great sacrifice. At the time, I'm not sure that I knew the magnitude of what I was watching unfold, but I witnessed a church who stepped into a hard decision, faced it head-on despite roadblocks and unexpected turbulence, and faithfully walked hand in hand toward pursuing the character of God in order to better reflect Him to His people. I am so thankful that the generation of leaders in 2006, 2007, 2008, and 2009 had the faith to empower our church family, to invite the next generation into the compelling story they were writing, and to invest in this location. I can't wait to tell my own children about how their grandparents and other people they love dearly in this church modeled following God when I was a child. That in fact, the magnificent God we spoke of as a family in the 2006 bulletin was in control then and is still in control now. My hope is to model to Maggie, Watson, Lyndon, and Murphy the generosity, invitation, investment, and prayer that I witnessed as others stepped boldly into a difficult decision, knowing that it wasn't the first that had been made and it wouldn't be the last in our journey as a church, but that God would remain near through every twist and turn. And to know with assurance that all of us, the church body then and now and in days to come, are a part of the unfolding story that God is still writing.